Tough loss, guys. We're right in the hunt, right there. Just got outplayed both ends of the floor last 5 minutes of that game.
What were some of the factors in that last 5-6 minutes?
I'm gonna have to evaluate just minutes played, and these guys are giving me everything they have from a effort standpoint tonight, and flying around trying to get deflections, steals, making things difficult for Stanford through most of the game, and then I felt like we hit a wall, and we just we couldn't. They got a few offensive rebounds on misses, and then they really punished us in the lane late in the game. We just with Angel and Renard, and so I mean, credit to them. They closed the game out. Their defense bothered us, their zone with their size, and there weren't a lot of seams, and we did not move very well. We were pretty stagnant, and we didn't create any advantages against their defense late in the game, and so it was really both ends of the floor, and they did a better job than we did.
They ran the first half too, but you didn't have that many issues in the first half. Was it any different in the zone look in the second half?
Same style of defense. We want to hit the ball in the high post. I think that was our only thing that was successful was getting the ball to Jose some, and and him working against the middle of the defense. But you can't rely strictly on that. But it's everything. We second chance points. We got buried in that category, so that was bad. And we didn't make our free throws the way we needed to perfectly, because there was not a lot of margin for error down the stretch in that game.
When you start hot from deep, how do you avoid falling into the tendency of wanting to keep chucking?
Well, I mean, all right. In transition, in transition, we want to attack the paint. When you have these big guys that go like 6'1", 6'6", 6'7", 6'9", 6'10", what do you think happens to the paint?
It doesn't go very well.
Well, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So you got to move. You got to change sides of the floor. You got to get guys moving into different areas to try and change the alignment. We failed in that area, but when you're playing that defense, you got to be able to make some shots to try and stretch the defense, to open up driving lanes for someone, or to get them out of the defense because you're shooting them out of it. And we weren't able to do any of those things.
You mentioned the minutes. Is the ultimate challenge coaching this team that you're so thin that you can't play the tempo style and pressing that you want to without wearing down late in games?
I mean, it's there's been a common theme with that in some of these games. Late in the game, not having enough to close it. And, some others we've been able to win close ones late. Both of the Bay games, early in Pac-12. But I think I need to force myself to try and trust the bench more and get fresh bodies on the floor a little more frequently. That's on me. That's the best guess that I could have as to why. And that's not gonna. We came in here 12th in the Pac-12 at shooting threes. So you got to come in wondering if you're going to be able to make shots. But I think when physical exertion is impacting your defense late in the game, where you can't step up and stop your opponent, then so that's why we gotta trust the bench a little more and try and find guys that can produce coming off the bench.
Zoe and Frankie are so good in your press. Do you feel like you're as capable at deploying that when those guys are off the court?
I think the one time that I like to do it when Sean Phillips is on the back of the line, because if there is a situation where the press gets broken and you have a guy that can go up and block shots. So even if Zoe and Frankie aren't in the game, I would still press if Sean is in the game. But that was really our the ace that we had in our hand was trying to press them and force turnovers. That was our only path tonight.
What do you need to see from the bench in order that makes that trust for you and them easier?
I mean, it's not only putting the ball in the basket. We got to play defense. You got to rebound. We got to we can't have a drop off in the quality of play. But Kamari hit a couple shots, so I'm happy to see the ball go in for him. Maybe he gets more opportunity, and then just Sean had it going in that second half stretch until he got cut and had to go out. So weren't able to really get him back in the game late.
Coach, you kind of touched right now on Sean kind of exiting the game, where things kind of got a little out of hand after he left. Did Sean leaving the game kind of have more of an impact than kind of what you felt before that?
We were able to get some high percentage shots with him getting touches, and he had a nice move in the post and scored, and then got a lob to him and he scored. So we were able to get it to a guy that has the type of physical tools around the basket to score in the paint and not rely strictly on perimeter shots.
With the high expectations you had for Kamari coming into the season, what do you feel like has sort of kept him from getting to that level where he can be a consistent contributor for you every game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough role for him. I mean, he's probably started every game as a high school player, and then even at Louisville, started a lot there, and he's a different role coming up the bench. It's an adjustment. He's been doing it now for a while, but he hit a couple shots tonight and gave us a little boost. So hopefully he's starting to find something, and we could count on him more.
Couple more.
Adam Miller has been struggling. He hit a couple shots early. It looked like maybe he was breaking out of that early in the game and then missed some late. What is your take on maybe how he came along tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was fine. To win these games, though, we need the coach has got to do a better job. We got to manage the roster better to get the minutes distributed more equitably in some instances. We got to get the guys to play better against zone defense, and then the players themselves, like against these teams. Stanford is a quality team. I mean, they have quality wins this year. They're now 6-4 in the league, so they're in good position in the conference, and they got good players. They had two players, 21, 19, and 10, and 12 and 17. When you have guys that have those type of stat lines, you're in pretty good shape at the end. And we got to try and find more balance, but then have more guys playing well in a game. We didn't have enough guys playing well tonight.
Is there anybody that you walked away from tonight saying they need maybe some more minutes in the next game?
It's going to just be game to game and seeing how guys perform when they get their opportunities. But yeah, Kamari will most likely get more opportunity on Saturday, and Sean and Key. I want to keep getting him reps to develop him, and Bryant, and then we'll see after that.
One more.
Last 7 minutes, 17-2 run. When you guys kind of get into that situation, what do you tell your guys to do, or the mindset that you have to kind of turn that around, I guess?
It's just tough because it's demoralizing when you're when you get punished around the basket, and you play a certain way, and I'm not sure that we had ball pressure enough so they couldn't see these passes and they were able to throw it in, or they were just driving us and spinning and scoring, and Angel was doing that quite a bit, and then they were getting second chance points as we switched, and Renard, if they missed, was tipping it in. I mean, they really just dominated us right around the basket, and we at the other end couldn't score, so it was that's why you see that type of run at the end.
All right, walk me through those last 7 minutes when they were on that big run. What was going through your head? What was the team talking about in the huddles, and what was going on there?
Just trying to bounce back. I think what goes around comes around. I guess it happened to us there, and we made a late surge, and I guess it came back around to bite us this time, and they made a late surge, and it was just like we couldn't make any shots, and we couldn't get any stops, and that killed us, and that's kind of what happened down there. So I guess it's just karma in a way.
They played zone defense in the first half too, but you guys didn't have as many issues at all compared to the second half. Was there anything different in the look they gave you?
They moved it back a little bit, so we wouldn't pass it to the high post, and we were just a little too stagnant on offense, not moving enough and not getting enough player movement. Once we got into the high post, they kind of went to a man-ish zone, and it was kind of giving us a little problems. And ultimately, we just gotta get stops to get out transition, and also just knock down open shots, and that's what kind of hurt us tonight.
Bobby said that number of minutes that you guys are playing starters might be a contributing factor to not having as much juice late in games. Do you think that that's a factor or not really?
Possible. I mean, it's getting towards the end of the season. A lot of guys are banged up all over the country, and there's probably a lot of guys playing that type of minutes. I'm not going to necessarily disagree or agree with that. I think it could have been that, but I think it also could have just been. It might have not just been our night.
Kind of off that, Hurley said that he wants to, develop the bench and be able to trust the bench a little bit more. As a leader on the squad, how do you instill confidence in those guys who maybe don't see as much minutes? And
I just try to tell the guys to the best that I was there before, and if you get an opportunity, you have to take it and you have to make the best of it. I was in that position a lot in the last couple of years, and I feel like I did a decent job. And I try to tell them that I know it's frustrating, but you have to be ready when your time is called. And we have some guys on the bench that can help us for sure. So I definitely agree with Coach and just trying to get those guys more involved so they can be more engaged in the game and they can ultimately help us.
anything else?
Did you think that the shots that you guys were getting as a team overall, especially in the last 7-8 minutes, were as good as you wanted or needed them to be?
Not necessarily. I don't think we were getting great shots. I think we were getting decent shots. I think we were getting makeable shots. I think they just weren't falling. And Stanford, they're a tall team, they're a big team, so sometimes they can take away certain stuff by just being there, just putting their arms up. So it was a little bit of both.
How do you want to see your half-court offense develop? I know you guys struggle when you guys get put in that half-court offense. What do you want to see change? What do you want to see stay the same?
Honestly, just trusting your teammates, trusting your brothers, and when we look good, when we move the ball, we share the ball, when the ball's popping and moving, and we're getting open shots in. We had a lot of them in the first half and the second half. I think we just have to step into it. I think it's confidence for everybody. Everybody has to believe in themselves and believe in their teammates because we're getting the shots. We had a lot of shots. We had chances to break open the game, but we kind of let them back in and it hurt us. So just keep doing what we do and build on that.
What's an adjustment you need to make before the game against Cal this Saturday?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Just being a better leader, being better in every way. I had chances out there to impact the game, and sometimes I fall into just being out there where I'm not really doing anything for a few minutes. So I have to find a way to impact the game at all times to help us win. And as a leader on this team, when I see we're going through stretches where people are putting their head down or they're making their surge, I have to be more vocal, and I have to bring more energy to the team.
With the 4-guard lineup that you have, how do you approach playing a tall team like Stanford with 2 guys with double-digit boards?
It's hard. Like I said, it's hard. They're very tall. Sometimes on those crackdowns, when you crack it down on 6'10", 7 foot, it's kind of hard. They can just tip the ball over you, or you have to double the post. So and they shoot really well. So if you double, they kick out. So it definitely was a tough matchup, but we have to use our speed and athleticism to kind of pressure them so they don't see that. So it kind of looks like it's 6 defenders out there.
What did you think of Sean tonight before he went out? 2 blocks, a few good moves down low.
I definitely wasn't happy when Sean got hit with the ball and came out. I think that kind of messed up the momentum a little bit, like I've always said. I think Sean's great for us, and I think he helps us in a lot of different ways, and I was hurt to see him go tonight.
Now on a 3-game losing streak, what do you think this group needs to do to turn the corner and be able to make a strong push to the end of the season?
Just keep looking forward. The past is in the past. Learn from it and move on. We can't dwell on it too much, as everybody knows. The Pac-12 it's a unique year as far as everybody being so close in the standings, to the point where if we make a late surge, we could still end up at the top, and I like our chances.
Is that something you guys have talked about, that, hey, we're struggling now, but we could still very much win the Pac-12 tournament and get an automatic bid?
Even just try to win out the regular season. I think every game we play for the rest of the conference schedule is a winnable game. And I think now we're playing everybody for the second time, besides maybe Arizona and Washington State. So other than that, we've seen everybody, and every game was a winnable game. So I think we just have to learn from our mistakes, put our head down, keep working, and keep believing.